Hi guys, in today's video, I'm gonna show you my ultimate filament storage system, how I planned everything, and how I turned this part of my studio from this to this. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. For the storage box, I want to print either this one or this one. This model seems to be meant only for bamboo spools, plus there is no slot for labeling options on the box, so let's go with this one instead. It seems like I can print text for labeling the boxes, and there's also a desiccant holder inside the box, which is perfect to keep the filament dry. Now there's a version where you can install a hygrometer on the box, but that will just add more chances for moisture seeping in, so let's not go with that. I do, however, need to print the TPU gasket, which provides a nice seal to keep the box airtight. For the box, I decided to print it in the color of the filament itself, since it will be so much easier to identify the filament at a glance. I have way too many filaments, so this might take a while. It takes around 300 grams of filament and about 6 hours to print one box, so this is not cheap and it takes a long time to print. I'm printing 80 boxes, so that's about 27 kilograms of filament and 480 hours of printing time. For the gasket, I'm going with TPU High Flow 95A in black, and one gasket takes just about 8 grams of filament and prints in around 40 minutes. So that's another 600 grams of filament and 53 hours printing time. For the clips and the tags, I'm going to use this beautiful blue-gray filament, so let's print those. To label my boxes, I could just print the filament types and colors on the tags, but that's too boring and it would take a super long time to print the text in high resolution, so I'm going to use my eufymaker UV printer to do that. I also designed the tag with this indicator slider, and I'm going to show you what it's for in a minute. Now let's print the tags and the indicator sliders with the 0.2mm nozzle. Then let's print the text with my UV printer. As you can see, I printed the filament weight indicator in 200 grams increments, so I can tell how much filament I've left in the box. I just need to insert the indicator slider inside the slot here. Just flex the tag a little bit and it will snap right in. I decided to print the text in black for my PETG filaments to differentiate them from my PLA filaments. Now before we move on, let's thank our sponsor for today's video, Fanttik, with their all-time favorites, the Fanttik E1 Max and F2 Master. Let's start with the Fanttik E1 Max. If you've ever worked with tiny screws, you know how annoying that gets. Doing it all by hand just takes forever. The E1 Max makes that a lot easier. It's electric, runs up to 200 RPM and feels just right for small, precise work. The kit comes with 50 bits, plus a tweezer and a pry tool, which covers pretty much everything you'll need for electronics. Everything is stored in a metal case, held in place magnetically so nothing falls out. The screwdriver itself pops up with a spring-loaded mechanism, which is a nice touch. There's also an LED light that turns on automatically, and you can adjust the torque or lock it for manual use up to 3 Nm. Next up is the F2 Master. This is a compact multifunction tool, and it also comes in a solid metal case with all the attachments inside. Drill bits, sanding heads, cutting discs. Everything is held magnetically, which is really convenient. It uses a brushless motor with up to 25,000 RPM, and you get 5 speed levels to dial it in. It's dust resistant, works great on wood, metal, and 3D printed parts, and it feels really good for detail work or print cleanup. The revolver style case makes grabbing the right attachment quick and easy. Both the E1 Max and the F2 Master charge using USB-C cables, which are also included in the box. Their spring sale in March is coming soon, so make sure to check them out. I'll leave the links down below, and don't forget to use my code to get an extra discount on your order. And now back to the video. To seal the boxes, I'm going to apply this digital 3D print sealant on the inside walls of the boxes, just as an extra precaution so no air or humidity can seep through. I don't want to use UV resin, epoxy, or any of those super toxic chemicals, and this brand claims that their sealant is non-hazardous, VOC free, and solvent free, so I thought I'd give it a try. As good as it might sound, I'll put on my gloves and wear the gas mask anyway for that extra protection. This sealant is made in Germany and it is water-based special polymer that dries in just 5 minutes, which is super practical since I have 80 boxes to seal. I got a smaller 250ml bottle, and this is only enough to seal around 30 boxes, so I might need to get some more to finish the rest. To install the clips, I need 8 screws for each box, which means I'll need 640 screws. Using a slim electric screwdriver like the E1 Max is really convenient for installing the screws, though it will take some time to install them on all 80 boxes. The desiccant holder can store 70 grams of desiccant, so I got 5 kilograms of colorless desiccant beads, and I'm gonna add around 1 kilogram of color changing beads to that, which should be more than enough for all of my boxes. These desiccant beads can be regenerated, so when the orange beads turn dark green, that tells me they're saturated and need to be dried. Install the TPU gasket, slide in the tag with our label, and we're basically done. Before putting the spools inside the boxes, I'm going to create stickers for my bamboo spools with the color name on them. If you have a laser combo H2 series printer, you can use your cutting module to create the stickers. I have a non-laser version, so I got this cutting module kit separately. I made the design in Photoshop, and I'm going to use this translucent printable vinyl sticker paper to create the stickers. Installing the cutting module is super easy. Just slide the module all the way down on the toolhead, push the lever down to lock it, and plug the connector into the toolhead interface. Then follow the prompts on the screen to start the calibration. If you don't have the bird's eye camera installed, it might say that the live view camera is obstructed, so just tap ignore. We're going to print the label first using a standard inkjet printer, then let the H2 printer cut the design. You could also just use normal sticker paper, but I like the vinyl one since it won't leave any residue if I want to remove it. Plus, printing on vinyl gives me more accurate colors. If you keep track on the weight of your bamboo spools in the app, you can check how much filament is left on the spool. You can also just weigh the spool, subtract the weight of the plastic spool and the cardboard roll. Then just slide the indicator to show its approximate weight. Neat, right? Now the last step is to print the filament racks, and I want them to be modular. Now there are a lot of options here on Maker World, so I narrowed it down to 5 racks. The first one is this rack from pH Neutral. It looks super sturdy, but unfortunately it takes way too long to print and uses way too much filament. The box also doesn't fit inside the rack, so if I enlarge this, it will take even more time and filament to print. The second one is this rack from Sklark 27. It also makes a sturdy impression, and even though it takes less filament to print compared to the first model, it still uses 120 grams of filament per rack. The third model is from Hohorui, which is simply gorgeous. This would be the perfect model if I were going for aesthetics. Unfortunately, there are too many parts to print just to build a single rack. The fourth one is the rack from 3D Prints. It takes only a little over 70 grams of filament and less than 2 hours to print. This is the perfect model to print if you want to print a lot, and I mean a lot of racks. It feels a bit flimsy though, and this part here is a bit too wide for me, so I'll have to pass. The last model from Sarlix has almost everything that I need. It looks and feels very sturdy, prints in around 3 hours, and uses only about 80 grams of filament. I do, however, need to resize the rack just a little bit so my filament boxes can slide in and out easily. Just setting the X dimension to 239mm should be perfect. Now let's print 80 pieces of this using this high-flow PETG. I also decided to use the high-flow nozzle this time to cut down the printing time a little bit. I just wait until it finishes printing the first layer, then switch the speed to ludicrous mode. That shaves off about 50 minutes of printing time without sacrificing too much print quality. The rack system also comes with these clips, so I'll need to resize them as well. So let's put everything together and place the racks against the wall. Perfect. Finally, let's put the boxes inside the racks. The whole thing weighs around up to 43 kilograms, so if this ends up crushing my desk in a long run, I might need to move it somewhere else. The good thing about the rack system is that it's modular, so I have the flexibility to stack and connect them any way I want. So I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I hope it gives you some inspiration to start your own filament storing project. This project took me more than 3 months to finish and cost roughly $500 in total, so I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like and leave a comment to help the channel out. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one.